15th Annual Induction. In the room present with us today, we have the Leominster High School team to recognize first. But before we do that, it's fitting that today is Veterans Day, and I'd like to know if there's any veterans in the room. Would you kindly stand up? Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen, for your service to this country. At this time, we're going to recognize the high school football team under the rule of Coach Devin Gates. High school football team, would you please stand up and come walk across the stage and be recognized? Come on and recognize. Come on up front, guys. Come right up. Start over here and come right through. Come on by. It is? It's the Leominster High School team, number 129th team. Hi guys, congratulations. Where's Coach Gates? Is he in the room? You're welcome. Thank you for saying that. Thanks, guys. So, where are we? Where is... You want to do a little description right now? You're going to do it. Go ahead. At this time, we're going to have Mark Bedanza introduce and discuss the essence of the Lou Little Award.
Good evening, all. Thank you for coming. This is our 14th award ceremony. Hard to believe. A few years into the process, these banquets, we decided to add an award for a high school football senior. And we thought it was important to share the heritage of Leominster football with the young people so they would understand what all of you understand, how great a tradition this Leominster program is. So we introduced the Lou Little Award after Leominster native Lou Little, iconic football coach. I'm going to describe a little bit about him first. Interestingly enough, it's Veterans Day, and as Gil pointed out, we want to thank all of our veterans for their service. Lou Little was a veteran, and he actually interrupted his career at Penn during college to enlist in the Army, and he rose to the rank of captain faster than anybody in the country and became a skilled bayonet instructor, and then went overseas to serve, returned, and to play at Penn for another year. Lou Little, of course, was a Leominster High School graduate, the first Leominster High School football player to play in the NFL for the Buffalo All-Americans back in 1920 and 1921. By the way, he played for that team and another professional football team in Philadelphia at the same time. He used to take the train up to Buffalo to play on Sundays until the Buffalo coach found out that he was doing that. Interesting story. He was not only a great coach and led Georgetown and Columbia to some great football victories. One of his greatest victories was a stunning upset of Stanford in the Rose Bowl in 1934, when the Rose Bowl was the only college football bowl game. They were 20 or 30 point underdogs, most people thought, and they beat Stanford 7-0, and it caused a cheer when he announced on the radio, "Hello to all my friends back in Leominster." They say you could hear a cheer through the whole city at once. By the way, that was like winning the Super Bowl in 1934. The following year, in 1935, he was a member of a committee with Jim Crowley of the Notre Dame Four Horsemen and John Heisman, and designed a trophy to be awarded to the greatest college football player of the season. The following year, John Heisman died, and they renamed that trophy to the Heisman Trophy. So Lou Little was quite an icon in football nationally, was on all the talk show circuits. And he was also a great humanitarian that created a lot of opportunities for Leominster kids at Columbia. And there's an interesting story about one of his players. He used to keep tabs on everybody, and he asked that player, "Hey, I know you're being raised by a single mom. Is she able to get to the games?" And he said, "No, coach, she has to work on Saturdays." And then a week later, his mother had a new job, a raise, and she had the ability to go watch her son play football on Saturdays. That's the kind of guy that Lou Little was. In any event, we thought it important to create this award it's not an MVP award, it's about a kid who is a good football player, but also a good citizen. And I'll read the criteria for the award. The criteria for the honor are consistent with the values of Lou Little, a man who throughout his career was as concerned for the education and future of young men he coached as results on the football field. The honoree should combine good character on and off the football field with humble determination. He will be a leader by example, loyal and hardworking. The full utilization of his God-given talents will be more important than exploits on the field alone. He will embody the feature of football that honors the underestimated, well-led squad which prevails through teamwork, not because they are better players, but because they are better men. And Gil will introduce this year's recipient.
Thank you, Mark. That was excellent. This award is a summary of us asking the coaching staff of Leominster High School to pick an individual fitting of what Mark just described. This year, I get goosebumps when I read this, and because I'm thinking it from the standpoint of this young man and his parents who are in the room. Tyler Witzgall. Tyler Witzgall has been an integral part of Leominster football program. He is a first-year starter, but his leadership has an impact every squad he's played on since his freshman year. Not only has he started at center all year for us, he has also been a vital part of the offense scout team task in preparing the defense every week. Whether it's starting on the offense or scout team, Ty's effort, intensity, and focus is always at the highest level. He simply does everything the right way for all the team. Tyler is also a senior class president and works extremely hard to give LHS students great events and opportunities. Tyler is a highly accomplished student with a GPA well north of 3.5. He embodies Leominster High School student athlete should be. He is humble. He is the humblest of warriors who always puts his team above himself. It is our pleasure to name Tyler Witzgall as 2023 Lou Little Award. Tyler, would you come on up, please? Tyler's name will be put on. Congratulations. You go home with this. Tyler's name will also be, it's already on, perpetually on this trophy that we hope to put in the Leominster Football Hall of Fame structure, soon to be built. built in Doyle Field, and as well, he goes home with this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
In the same vein as the Lou Little Award, a few years after it was established, we decided to create a second award named after football coach Ray Comerford. Many people know that Bernard Doyle donated Doyle Field to the city of Leominster, a great gift that has benefited many generations of our football players and citizens. But what most people, or a lot of people, don't realize is the first gift to Leominster football from Bernard Doyle was a professional football coach. Fitchburg had Clarence Amiot from 1913 to 1938. In 1924, the Fitchburg High School football team was the unofficial national champion. In 1926, Coach Amiot coached the basketball team to an official national championship. Bernard Doyle figured it was time for Leominster to get a coach like that, so he hired Ray Comerford in 1927 while he was mayor. 1927, Leominster only lost to Fitchburg by a score of 64-0. Not an auspicious start. But 1928 and 1929, Comerford coached back-to-back victories against Fitchburg in close games. In 1930, 8,000 people packed Crocker Field because it was going to be the last time that Leominster had to play exclusively in Fitchburg because Doyle Field was opening the next season, 1931. There were 65 police officers there that day, so you can imagine the atmosphere was probably just a bit tense. Unfortunately, Leominster lost that game to 6-0, but Leominster football had come a long way under Coach Comerford's tutelage. Unfortunately, in the summer of 1931, just before football season began, Coach Comerford was down on the South Shore at a beach, and he heard a young man out in the ocean in the undertow, needed help. The coach didn't hesitate, he dived in, he went out to swim to the young man, he tried to bring him back to shore, he tired, and two men jumped in to help the coach and the young man. The young man was saved, but Coach Comerford drowned. And as a result, a great humanitarian, a great coach was lost to Leominster, and Coach Broderick succeeded him for the 1931 season. But we thought it was important to remember him because he was a great coach and because of how he died in particular. So this award has criteria that's just a little different than the Lou Little Award. The recipient of this award will be a young man of character. He will have a giving spirit, always willing to lend a helping hand to teammates and the greater community. He might not be a starter or a highly skilled player that gains notoriety with each passing week of the season. He will be the sort of player that takes his duty on the team seriously, knowing that his function is important to the success of the entire team, even though there are no accolades on Saturday morning. In sum, the recipient of this award will be the type of player that his teammates will remember as the years pass and the headlines fade. I remember one season we gave this award out, and on Thanksgiving Day, the young man that won the award intercepted a pass, and I think he ran it back for a touchdown that was on the third or fourth all-time list in terms of that accomplishment. So hopefully this award inspired him. This year's recipient was a fellow who missed his first two seasons as a freshman and sophomore as a result of injuries, and it wasn't even known whether he would make it to play his junior season. He did, in fact, come his junior season, and he learned the skill at quarterback. and he mastered it. He had the mental aspects of the role down pat, and he became an outstanding scout quarterback for the team. And well-liked, a leader. He takes his role as a scout quarterback quite seriously. He contributes in many ways to the community with a whole host of community activities, and is a good student. This year's winner of the Ray Comerford Award is Josh Lieber.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Lee. Where's your parents? Right there. Okay, they got it. Thank you. Okay, the next recipient is Jim Ferrara. Now, there's a story behind Jim Ferrara playing Leominster High School football. His twin brother and he had to make a decision, their father said, because they owned a business in downtown Leominster, and they said, "You're both going to play football, huh? Well, you go in the room and come out and tell me which one is playing football and which one is going to work every day," according to Jim Ferrara. So Jim got the toss on that one, and he played football notably, ferociously. This is a gentleman. Jim graduated from Leominster High School in 1962. This is some of his stuff. This is his varsity jacket from 1962. Look at this thing. How's this? And here's his football sweatshirt. I mean, most of you guys, this is 60-something years old. Do you know where yours is? Right? He gave us this to put into the Hall of Fame, which we're trying to get done, along with these other memorabilias. Graduated in 1962. He was a 2-year starter on offensive guard, 155 pounds, Jimmy? 155 pounds. And, you know, if you played that position or played against someone in that position, it's probably the adage of it's not the size of the dog, but the size of the fight in the dog, something like that. Jimmy is an example of that. In fact, he never left the field over 2 years of play, having contributed to every special team unit as well. In 1960, the Boston Herald, you guys think that's a century ago, but in 1960, the Boston Herald named him to the Massachusetts All-Star team as an honorable mention. He was highly regarded by his fellow teammates and coaching staff as a dogged, hard-nosed competitor. Jim was always regarded as the mentoring and coaching of Ted Damko, Don Bracani, and Bob Novelli. Coach Bob Novelli is a famous coach, teacher at Leominster High School, and he has actually passed away, but before he did, he had mentioned Jim Ferrara's name to me as someone that he felt highly regarded for. He has been married to his wife Claire for 55 years, and they have 3 children. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to recommend Jimmy Ferrara. Come on up, Jim. And Jim plays in an over 80 hockey league still, men's hockey. You got to say a few words.
This is a lot harder than playing football. I'd like to thank our coaches for everything they did for us. They worked with us, they pushed us, they turned us into a football team. To my teammates, the best teammates I could ever have played with, and I mean on and off the field, just a special group. We had a lot of fun together and a lot of good memories. Tonight, I'd like to share this honor with my family, friends, and the football team. Thank you.
You deserve that.
The next inductee is Paul Beacott. Paul is a 1980 graduate of Leominster High, where he played varsity football for 3 seasons and was a starter at offensive tackle his junior and senior years. He was twice named to the Central Massachusetts Conference All-Star Team in 1978 and 1979. In 1978, Paul was named to the North Worcester County Sports Writers All-Star Team and the Worcester Telegram and Gazette All-Star Super Team. Paul played in the 1980 Shriners game. He was part of the 1978 undefeated team that was ranked number 1 in New England and number 6 in the nation. Leominster teams defeated their rival Fitchburg in all 3 Thanksgiving contests during Paul's high school years. He is a graduate of WPI, where he was a 4-year starter at tackle. Paul has had a successful professional career after college in management. He's been married to his wife Patricia for 33 years, and they have 4 children. Congratulations, Paul. Come on up.
What? John Flanagan asked me that I keep this under a half an hour, so I'm going to try to do that. When I was inducted into the Hall of Fame 10 years ago with the 78 team, my sister-in-law, Cheryl, who's with us today, said that Leominster likes its football, and I think it really does. It did then, it does now. There's a lot of tradition for the game in Leominster. We had the best fan base, right? I still remember playing at Doyle Field or Crocker Field on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, the place was jammed. Jammed. It was an awesome feeling to play there. We had great fans like my parents, Claire and Lou. I don't think they ever missed a game, certainly my games. My brother Leo, who's here, or my brother Alan. And they got to see good games also. In the 5 years we played at Leominster High, we lost a total of 4 games and got 3 Super Bowl champions. Wow. I do want to mention our coaching. Coach Stubbs and Coach Roger are here tonight. During my tenure, Coach Zabzinski and Coach Vallette were the line coaches. They were great to play for. They were tough but good coaches. We didn't love some of the drills they put us through. Usually it involved mud, but again, they helped us succeed. And then finally, when you play on the offensive line, your success depends upon the others who play around you. So I just want to share this award tonight with anybody who played on the offensive line for me. And tonight, Joe DeCarolis, John Flanagan, who was the tight end. He's kind of like a honorary linemen, I guess, because they get to catch the ball and weed in. But again, thank you, and congratulations to everyone else who is inducted tonight. Thank you.
Pretty impressive record on that team play. Wow. Next induction will be Tom Flanagan. Tom was a 1981 graduate, Leominster High School, captained the 1980 team during his senior year. A versatile athlete. He contributed at tight end, defensive end, and punter positions. Tom was named to the Telegram and Gazette Super All-Star Team, Sentinel and Enterprise All-Star Team at graduation. Also attended the Shriners All-State Team and Italian-American All-State Team. After graduation, Tom continued his success on the gridiron at the University of New Hampshire, where he played tight end, wide receiver, center, and punter. There he was named to an all-conference team and won the Unsung Hero Award. Flanagan later signed as a free agent with two NFL teams, the Denver Broncos and the New York Jets. He played during preseason, but with the Jets was released after the final roster cut. He finished his football career playing one season with Italy's Hunters Roma team. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Flanagan. Congratulations, Tom. You're welcome.
Whew, I'm starting to get a little worried. 42 years since I played my last snap at Leominster High School. And didn't think I was going to make it up here today. Not fellow inductee James Ferreira level of worrying, but worried. Thank you, Hall of Fame committee, all the football players, family, and friends. It's a true honor to be named to the Leominster High School Blue Devils Hall of Fame. It's a long and historied program. Lots of great players have come through this team, and I'm just humbled and honored to be part of that. Thank you very much. You know, as a kid, I think it was my dream to play football in the NFL. I think it's a lot of a young players' dreams, including some of the players here tonight. I can remember watching those old NFL films featuring the Cowboys and the Steelers and the Raiders. Those slow motion shows with the unbelievable music of Sam Spence playing in the background, just getting you ready to play, and just it's what I wanted to do. I had a Jack Snow football card that I would tuck in my pocket every time I went out to play football, hoping that would bring me good luck and push me to the next level. And I dreamed of being Jack Snow on the Rams. I had the unbelievable and unique opportunity of being able to step on the field at every possible level. Pop Warner, let's go Dolphins. High school, college, professional, overseas, they all offered unique and unbelievable opportunities. There was nothing I would change in the world. But what I noticed at every level you went up after high school playing for Leominster, it was just something a little bit was lost. Didn't have that same feel. No longer were we able to wear that football jersey like these gentlemen back here on Fridays, walking through the halls, seeing your other teammates with the same shirt on, or your friends that you've known since first grade. No longer are the cheerleaders who were also your friends since first grade. You're walking through the halls, getting ready for the game as well. They had their own job to do, just as excited as you were. The band, they had their job to do, and they were ready to play. Who could forget that sound the band played it when Leominster scored that touchdown? I think you can all hear it right now, can't you? Raise the hair on your arms. And the pep rallies, no more of that. It was, the school would stop, school dead in its tracks, just to rally around the football team. Everyone gathering in the gym, you know, the faculty, the student body, the cheerleaders, the band, parents, they were all involved, just pushing you, and behind you to excel in the football field. No more of that either. Thanksgiving game. How about that game? Let's talk about the most emotional game you'll probably ever play in your life. That's lost when you move to the next level. And if you ever had the opportunity to win that game, what a day that was, right? Thanksgiving was never so great. You know, those aches and pains felt so good. The dinner was tremendous, and that nap was zen-like after dinner. You were just so self-actualized, just perched upon that peak of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, just looking down. And table 13, if you weren't paying attention in high school, you can Google Maslow later, and you'll be like, yes, I get you, I get it. It's such a unique experience to play for Leominster High School. And as I mentioned, just things get lost on your way up. When I was a young kid, I remember coming down from my bedroom. And I think I talked to my mom, who's here today, and I said, remember that dream I had last night? You guys were there. Remember how much fun we had? And they're like, no, Tommy, that was just a dream. We weren't there. And I'm, oh, really? But tonight, I'm right. We all live that dream. And you were all there, all you players back there too. You all lived that dream. We're all part of it. NFL wasn't the dream. It was right here. It was Leominster High School football. We all lived it. So that's some good news. Tonight, I share this award with John Flanagan, both of them. My dad, bless his beautiful soul, and my brother John. When my dad was in high school, they said the letters JF stood for just football, and that is the epitome of my dad. He was just a football player, and he was a tough, hard-nosed SOB, and if anyone knows my dad, you know exactly what I mean. He passed that moniker on to his son, John Flanagan, and because John took that to the next level of just football. Both my dad and my brother, John Flanagan, were standout players at Leominster High School. My brother John was a standout player at UNH as well, all-conference player and team captain. John was John the son took that just football moniker, and he was the driving force of all the teams he ever played on. He was dedicated, sacrificed everything he could to make himself and his team a better team around him. In his senior year, he won the Unsung Hero Award And that's a reward that goes to someone who can't necessarily pad the stat sheets, but has to do all the little things, all the dedication, all the commitment it takes. John was a driving force in high school and in college. I don't really think I'd be here tonight if it wasn't for his trailblazing path and his dedication. So I thank John for that. So the very next year, I won the Unsung Hero Award at UNH. Let me back up. We both played together at UNH. In an odd twist of fate, I think the reason I won that award is because they moved me from tight end to offensive center. I'm like, offensive center, huh? But the ironic twist to that was I got to play side by side with my brother John. He was a guard, I was a center. We played a full season, side by side. And that year, John won the all-conference. We both made the all-conference team that year, John first team. And he was also the captain that year. So John blazed that trail for me. He won the Unsung Hero Award. I followed up, and I won it the next year. It would be, who knows, John, maybe this time I can blaze that trail. You'll be next and follow me right here. Thank you, everybody.
Really good.
It's me with Techno.
Yeah.
The next inductee is Rick Degnault. Rick was a two-year starter at Leominster High School during the 1974 and 1975 seasons. He played cornerback in both of those years and added to his duties in 1975 as backup quarterback, halfback, punt, and kickoff returner, and place kick holder. A little versatile, I think. Rick snagged an incredible 11 interceptions at cornerback, 5 in 1974 and 6 in 1975. He was named to the Worcester Telegram All-Star Super Team in 1975, as well as the Sentinel and Enterprise All-Star Team the same year. His 1975 team prevailed against powerful Brockton and beat Fitchburg the same year. The 1974 team was undefeated, ranking first in New England, 11th in the nation. Rick also starred in basketball and baseball and is a member of the Leominster High School Sports Hall of Fame. Rick found success in college basketball and baseball at College of the Holy Cross. He and his wife, Sandy, have been married for 40 years. They have 2 children, and his son, Mark, is the head coach of the NBA's Oklahoma Thunder, something for all Leominster to be proud of. Congratulations, Rick. Come on up.
For all the veterans in the room, thank you so much for your service. For the Leominster Football Committee, thank you so much for all you do, and thank you for the kind introduction. Got a little story. Somewhere in a shoebox, there's a childhood picture of my brothers, Chris and Jack Degnault, as well as myself, dressed up in helmets, shoulder pads, pants, and Boston Patriot shirts. Yes, the Boston Patriots. In fact, my sister Mary Ellen has a photo of herself dressed in the same uniform. So you can safely assume all my siblings at one point in time dressed up as little tiny football players. We can count our blessings that our parents encouraged us to enter into the world of sports. A huge thank you to my siblings, Jack, Chris, Tom, Louis, and May, for their love of our family and support of our family. Now, this old picture brought back memories. I'm sorry. So now this old picture brought back the earliest recollection of my dad's lifetime chant, beat Fitchburg. Today at 89, he still comes out with an occasional beat Fitchburg. This is from a man that's always driven a big blue truck and refuses to wear red. At age 10 and 60 pounds, I stepped on a scale with sand in my socks, rocks in my pockets, and the heaviest belt my dad owned to try out for Leominster Pop Warner. Head coach Dave Chester on the Leominster Dolphins chose me, and I played alongside Leominster football players John Crowley, Steve Donfro, and Fran Thomas. In our last season with the Dolphins, we were 1-9. Our only win of that season was against the Fitchburg Patriots. Beat Fitchburg. In ninth grade at Carter Junior High, I started at cornerback. Mike Pignata, a football Hall of Famer, was the star. Richie Chula-Bell was our coach. And yes, we crushed both Fitchburg Memorial and B.F. Brown that year. Beat Fitchburg. On to the sanctuary of Leominster football, where my junior year in 1974, I started out alternating at cornerback. After 2 games during a practice with the backs, a human freight train, Hall of Famer Dave Milatis, ran over this penny on a railroad track. I was flattened. I got home that night. I had a red scratch on my lower back just above my waistline. David hit me so hard, my head and shoulders bowed back that the bottom of my shoulder pads dug into my waist. It was then that I realized that the lifelong wonderful dream of playing Leominster football became a compelling reality. It was hit or be hit. I started the next game. Defending state champs and top 5 team in the nation, Brockton, came to Leominster. 17-7, Leominster win in front of 5,000 fans. We beat the state champions. On Thanksgiving Day, the final score was Leominster 36, Fitchburg 13 at Crocker Field behind Captain Hall of Famer Ricky LeQuire. Beat Fitchburg. In the Super Bowl, we won a historic 13-7 double overtime win against Chicopee, which preserved our undefeated record and ended the 1974 Hall of Fame season with us being, as mentioned, number 1 in the state and number 11 in the nation. In my first preseason scrimmage of my senior year in 1975, I threw a touchdown pass to my cousin, Lou Lully. That was special. Their first game of the season, I scored a touchdown on a win over St. John's, their only loss of the season. And in my first start ever as a quarterback against St. Peter's, I threw my first completion, a 34-yard touchdown pass to Fran Thomas, my friend of 55 years. Leading up to the Thanksgiving Day game, I heard 1,000 beat Fitchburgs from my dad. We not only beat Fitchburg, we shut them out 19-0 in a driving rainstorm and 3 inches of mud. Team captain Steve Ringer scored all 19 points. That was like my last football game with Leominster High, as well as Leon Huck Hannigan's last game as a Leominster High School coach. As mentioned, I played cornerback in multiple positions in my senior year, but my most memorable was holding for the extra points and the field goals for place kicker Steve Ringer, and there were many of them. I can only hope I was as good of a teammate and a player as my fellow 1974 and 1975 Leominster football colleagues and friends. To my family, I'm so happy and proud to have you in my life. My wife of 40 years, Sandy, son Mark and Ashley with their 2 children, AJ and Stella, our daughter Erica and husband Mike, with Daphne and 4-week-old Howie, who is actually here tonight. I love you all. Lastly, in 1982, our mother was killed in a single car accident on her way from UMass Amherst. She was enrolled in a doctorate program for nursing. She was 48 years old. 4 months later, the Dagnall clan drove to Hyannis to accept the MIAA Hall of Fame Award posthumously to Francis L. Dagnall as a contributor to Leominster sports. While my brother Chris went in the Hall of Fame in 2015, our dad went in the Athletic Hall of Fame for a four-sport star in 2022. Our mother was the first Hall of Famer in the Dagnall family, and rightfully so. For their unconditional love, their sacrifice and commitment in our life of sports, and for nurturing a friendly hatred toward Fitchburg football, I'd like to dedicate this award to the true Hall of Famers of our family, my parents, Jack and Frances Chicky Dagnall. Thank you for listening. I love you all. And as always, especially in the back of the room, beat Fitchburg. Thank you.
We're gonna do-
Order just a bit. This year, we have one contributor. Over the years, we have inducted a number of contributors to Leominster high school football, people who have changed the trajectory of the sport in Leominster by their contributions, valuable contributions to the program. Pat LaPointe has had a love for Doyle Field for a long, long time. And as the DPW director and the superintendent of Doyle Field, has spent countless hours and days and weeks and months and years making that facility what it is today. He was named the director of Public Works, a post he held until 2013. He oversaw major renovations to Doyle Field, and meticulous maintenance was the hallmark of his career and responsibility as the director and as the superintendent of the field. Even in his retirement, he stayed active in matters related to Doyle Field. He was a member of the Doyle Field Commission. He was a member of the Leominster Football Foundation, the Leominster Football Hall of Fame, the Historical Commission in Leominster, and a whole host of other organizations, youth sports organization. Pat was named Leominster's Citizen of the Year in 2000, well-deserved, and authored a book titled Public Work and Building Leominster, One Road, One Pipe, One Park at a Time in 2019. He has been married for 51 years to his wife Susan, and he has 2 children and 3 grandsons. Congratulations, Pat. Come on up.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I'd like to congratulate the 1997 team and all the other inductees tonight, and thank them for giving us so many exciting moments playing football for Leominster High School. I find myself in a unique position being here tonight. I get to work at Doyle Field for 31 years. Honestly, every time I drove into Doyle Field, I had a smile on my face, unless I saw a dog or a kid with a bike on the field. That really irritated me. But I'm proud to stand here today and tell you that I was part of every improvement done at Doyle Field from 1991 to 2022 when I turned in my keys. And it's remarkable what was done during those years. I want to thank the first Doyle Field Commission I ever worked with, which was Jack Mahan, Elio Tarcoletti, Joe Love, and Kenny Paul. They always encouraged us right from the start to do whatever we wanted to do to improve Doyle Field. And honestly, I could stand here for 2 hours and thank all the people that worked with us at Doyle Field. I'm going to tell you the quick story about it. The field that you see there today started around 2000. I got a phone call from Louise Doyle's right-hand man, Dick O'Brien, who wanted to meet me at the parking lot on Pre Street. And when we were standing there, I was looking across at the upper field, he says, "What can we do to improve Doyle Field?" Ms. Doyle already got the mayor to commit to putting a new roof on the clubhouse, and she wanted to do something. I looked at the old chain link fence, I'm sure you remember that, 6-foot chain link fence, and I said, why don't we remove that and replace it with black ornamental fence from the railroad tracks to the main gate? I got him a price, Ms. Doyle agreed to do it. I then talked the mayor, Mazzarella, into letting our construction crew come behind the fence installers and put in concrete sidewalks, granite curbing, all the way to the main gate, including the main gate area. They built granite flower boxes, you've probably seen those, and they donated, our DPW employees donated and made a 20-foot mahogany bench that still sits there today. That started it off. When we finished that, Miss Doyle was absolutely thrilled with the results. She then agreed to replace all the fencing around the entire area at Doyle Field, including the back end at Green Street. It improved the looks of Doyle Field 100%. Then, years later, and I guess we caught people's eye, the wonderful group we partnered with, the Doyle Field Foundation, came along. Gilly was the chairman of a wonderful group of private fundraisers. They partnered with us to build the field that you see there now. The city donated $1 million, which had been given to us by Miss Doyle as an endowment. And Dick O'Brien and I were able to raise $800,000 in grant money, and the Doyle Field Foundation did the rest. And it resulted in the field that you see there now. At the end of the when we finished the project, it was the end of the season, and it was time to play Fitchburg on the Thanksgiving game. Unfortunately, despite all our hard efforts, there was a few spots on the field. There was muddy in the middle, some bare spots. We had overseeded all fall, overwatered all fall, and we were a little disappointed in the results. At a Doyle Field Commission a couple weeks later, Gilly said that Doyle Field looked like a beautiful smile with a bad tooth. And he was right. So we started the push for the synthetic field at that point. And we put together a great group of people. Ernie Rooney was a very exuberant member of that group. And along came Whitman and Bigham, Jamie Rowe, Brian Millisey, and Anthony Cleaves. They volunteered their time to help us evaluate the products that we were looking at for fields. And they insisted that we use their conference room for our meetings. And finally, in 2010, we put in that synthetic field that you see there now. And Doyle Field turned into one of the best high school sports complexes in New England. Everybody wanted to play there. As you should know, and you probably do know, that MIAA plays the old Central Western Mass championships there. Instead of going to Worcester, instead of going to Springfield, they play at Doyle Field now. They also play the Division I baseball championships on the the baseball field, which we renovated 3 different times. They play the girls and boys Division I soccer games there. They were also playing playoff games for now girls field hockey and lacrosse. And I am so proud to be a part of that place. I want to thank and recognize my wonderful wife, Sue, and my family who are here tonight. I say that because I thank them for their patience, for all those nights where I came home and I either was late for supper or I missed supper, or was at Doyle Field on Saturdays, or sometimes Saturdays and Sundays, and they were more than patient with me, and I love them all. I also want to thank a wonderful group of people, some friends and relatives. I call them my Friday night friends. They're here to support me. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming. I love all you guys. My only regret about Doyle Field, and I have one, was that I didn't have a chance to meet Mr. Bernard Doyle, who gave the city that wonderful piece of property. I hope you all can enjoy and appreciate Doyle Field for the gem that it is. Thank you very much.
Okay, next up is going to be a dear friend of mine who at 12 years old I met when I walked on a Pop Warner football field, and we both played for the Leominster Rams, coached by the Horgan brothers, 5 of them, 4 of them, I thought. And he's been my friend for many, many years, and in the days when we didn't have cars or money, we used to thumb to Wells, Maine to visit with Mikey, my wife, and Steve was dating her sister Joey at the time, and we'd get on Route 2 with a suitcase the size of these tables, I would anyway, and we'd thumb up to Wells, and we became dear friends since then. Steve was an impact player all through his junior years, and then again when he got to Leominster High School. Steve is a 1972 graduate of Leominster High School, where he starred as fullback and defensive end. Assigned number 40, previously worn by Leominster great Bobby Matibia, head coach Huck Hannigan asked him if he could feel these shoes. Gave Steve that shirt and said, "Can you fill these shoes?" A moment, Steve said he can take you to the spot that Huck Hannigan asked him that question. It meant so much to him at the time. In 1971, he was named a Central New England All-Star as a defensive end. The same year, he earned a nod at Northwestern Central New England All-Star as a defensive end. The same year, he earned a nod and played as a fullback. His senior season, Steve was named the recipient of the Lane Trophy at the Thanksgiving game, in which he provided stellar play on both sides of the football. The choice was unanimous, and he capped off a successful career for the hard-nosed Leominster Gritter. Steve and his wife Maria have 1 child. Steve went on at that point and had an extended stay in Iraq. He is one of our local true heroes. That extended stay caused him a medical condition in Iraq in his lungs, and he fights that today, and he is a fighter. And we're lucky to have people like him who served this country as he did on our behalf. At this time, I'd like to have Steve Brewster come up and accept his award. Don't blow it. Don't blow it.
Don't blow it.
Oh, thank you, I'll put it right there. You couldn't get me a seat to go up
That
the
was
stairs?
extra.
And Gilly's not kidding about that suitcase. I'm telling you, I never seen, when he pulled up and got out of the car and I saw that suitcase, I says, there's no way we're gonna make it. There's no way. But, Gilly, Mark, thank you very much. Okay. I would like to thank everyone for voting for me into the Leominster Football Hall of Fame. I would especially like to thank my wife Maria and my daughter Kelly. I would also like to thank my brothers. My brother Gary has COVID, so he won't be here tonight, but my brother Carl's sitting right there, a veteran. I'd like to thank my nieces and my nephews and my 5 cats who are waiting patiently for me to come home. Oh, Jesus, I almost forgot. I also have a sister. Oh, my God. If I forgot that. Actually, my sister played a big part in my football career as a young kid. I grew up in the housing project. And I always wanted to play football with the bigger kids, and they wouldn't let me. So I said, okay. So I go back to the house, I get my sister, she'd come over to the field, beat the hell out of them until they said I could play. And she would watch the game, stand back with the tiger claw. Kind of an inside joke. I would also like to take the time to say thank you to all the veterans out there. If you were deployed, welcome home. You know, speaking of the military, I spent 22 years of service for my country, but I never thought football would play a part in my military service. What I learned playing football is the concept of playing as a team. Every time I put that uniform on, I was very proud because I knew what it took to earn the right to wear that uniform. Just like I earned the right to wear the football uniform that you work so hard for. I will also feel the same sense of pride when I am able to tell people that I am a Leominster Football Hall of Famer. Now, I like to wear my veteran's hat, so I guess I'm going to have to make some T-shirts that says LHS Hall of Famer. So people stop me in the market and say, hey, thank you. I would like to tell you a quick story about something that happened to me. And you kids out there, these young players, I guarantee you, if we came back, well, we won't be coming back in 50 years, but I guarantee you guys this is going to happen to you. I guarantee it. It happened to me 50 years ago. It was Thanksgiving Day, and we were playing Fitchburg at Crocker Field. There was only a few seconds left in the game, and we were winning 14-6. Fitchburg scored to make the game 14-12. They were set up to go for the extra 2 points to tie the game. And I don't even know if they put in overtime at that. I don't remember. It's a long time ago. But anyways, so they set up their play, and they ran a sweep around my end. I was able to shed my block, but I noticed who was carrying the ball, and I knew I would never catch him before he got to that goal pylon. Let's see, where was I? I was over by the pylon. I saw him look back at me, and I could read in what was in his eyes. And his eyes said, I'm going to make Steve Brousseau a hero today. And that was when I first met John. Okay? For the first time. I never thought that I could have a friend from Fitchburg. Beat Fitchburg? Where are you, Ricky? Yeah. I had to take that one away from you. Because of the rivalry. I didn't even like my cousin because he was from Fitchburg. But John and I have been great friends for over 50 years. John is here tonight. John, would you stand up over there? No, John, stand up. John is here tonight to help me celebrate my induction into the Hall of Fame. John was recently inducted into the Fitchburg Hall of Fame. So, oh, John, I messed that one up. Now you're supposed to stand. Anyways, you can sit. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. John Marabello. Now you can stand up again. Rick, Fitchburg Hall of Famer over there. I don't know what this world is coming to. The best part is that John is the cousin of my childhood best friend, Frank Dignard. Okay? That's something, along with Jimmy Flanagan. I don't usually tell people that, but I'll go with. And another thing, there's somebody else here I have to thank, okay? Who's a very good friend of mine, and if it wasn't for her, I'd still be trying to get out of high school. Carol Akey, thank you so much for getting me out of that school. I don't know what I would have done without you. Okay? You know, in the last 2 years, I've lost 3 great friends. Michael Raffaelli, Bobby McMillan, and Jeff Turbide. May they all rest in peace, and we always will pray for them. I know that I took up a lot of your time, and I'm sorry, but if I have another minute, I have another story. Okay? So I'm a sophomore. My idol decides he's going to take me swimming. So he takes me down to the reservoir. Well, he just took a couple of us, made us go in the reservoir, get out, roll around in pine needles and sap. Then he made us get in the car, and he drove us to the post office downtown Leominster, which I thought was over, but no. He says, I want you guys to run down to St. Leo's Church, and you have to touch the front door. We have people watching you. Great, so I start running. About 30 feet before the doors open up, it's Sunday. Church is coming out. Yeah, look the other way, John Fiandaca. It was unbelievable. But, yeah, you can just wave over there, John, yeah, I'm on to you, okay? Gilly, I know we talked about this. My idol is here, Bobby Mativia. Okay? Him and John are the ones we looked up to. And John, I know that we got a lot going on here, but I have something in the bag here for you. I was given 2 number 40 shirts when I left the high school. They were the older model shirts, not the mesh. And I'd like to give you the blue number 40 that I was given, because I followed in your footsteps and did the best that I could. So, where are you?
Right next to Mike.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. No wonder nobody could tackle you. He's like a ninja. All right, well, anyways, I want to thank you guys and thank all of you for listening to me. Yeah, I see you, Jimmy, and Mike Proetti laughing at me, Joe Ashe. Yeah. You get up here one day. Is this mine? Oh. Okay. Thank you all.
Well done, all inductees. I just wanted to make a few additional remarks about the Hall of Fame. This, some of you may remember that in 2009, we did a reenactment of the first Leominster-Fitchburg football game in the pasture up on Lindell Avenue, which is part of the Doyle estate. And before we actually did that game, one night I was out and I saw Gil and Mikey in a local bar. And I said, boy, I think I should tell Gil that were about to put a couple thousand people next door to his house. And that sprang into Gil's full involvement in that game. He actually coached the Leominster team, as well as a vision that Gil had for this Football Hall of Fame. And in connection with that game, I had written my first book, which was called The Game That Forged Rivals. And I want to say this because that book and my love for football history and the Leominster football tradition was born as a 13-year-old when I sat in the press box in Louise Doyle's seats in November of 1969 and watched my boyhood idol, Bob Mativia, run all over Fitchburg in one of the greatest upsets of Fitchburg in the whole history of the rivalry, 40-18. So Bobby, you not only beat Fitchburg that day, but you got this young man to develop a love for football generally, football heritage, football history generally, and in a way contributed to the start of all of this. So thank you. I also would be remiss if I didn't thank Gil specifically for having the vision for this Football Hall of Fame and being a great partner over the last 14 years in getting this off the ground and to continue, as well as Joe DeCarolis and others who have been our board members. Thank you very much, all of you. And last but not least, before I introduce the team, I have to thank my wife, Adele, who has supported so many of my activities over the last several years, given me the time and emotional support to do all this. And tomorrow is her birthday. And next to her, her good friend from high school, Candy, maiden name Nicholson, whose grandfather donated the trophy that you guys will compete for on Thanksgiving, or this year, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. That trophy has passed hands between Leominster and Fitchburg since 1926. And her grandfather gave the cup to stimulate that rivalry between Leominster and Fitchburg. And on Monday is Candy's birthday. Now, the team. And I want to preface this by, we've inducted a lot of teams over the years. Well, not a lot, but some very stellar football teams. In our very first year, 2010, we inducted the 1932 Leominster High School undefeated football team. It was the second football team in the history of the program that went undefeated. The first one, 1910, was Lou Little's team. In 2010, when we inducted that team, there was one surviving member of that team left. His name was Rick Cavioli. And he came to the banquet and he accepted the award on behalf of all of his deceased teammates. He passed 6 months after that. And I saw his daughter, Carol, who's a good friend of mine, in church one Sunday. And she said to me, "Mark, you have no idea what you did for my dad. He never stopped talking about that night his entire last 6 months of his life." And that by itself makes all of this worth it. So I hope all of you have that moment someday and that ability to connect through this rivalry like many of us here have, especially you young people. The heritage of this football tradition is second to none. The 1997 team posted a record of 9 wins and 3 losses, outscoring its opponents 266 to 184. The team defeated its arch rival Thanksgiving morning at Doyle Field by a score of 26 to 8. It was the first time since 1990 that the Leominster defeated Fitchburg in its traditional rivalry game. As you probably remember, if you've been around for a while, there have been a lot of swings in this rivalry where one team has dominated another for a number of years. So this team reversed a long span. The team went on to an impressive 45-13 victory over Holyoke in the Super Bowl. Again, it was Leominster's first Super Bowl berth since 1990. Without further ado, Gilly's going to call the names of the newest inductee as a team to to the Leominster Football Hall of Fame, the 1997 team.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, first up, let's see Sean Jordan. Kyle Robbins. Greg Donatelli. Walter Morales. Accepting for Ricky White will be Keegan White. Carly Adams. Okay, thank you. Nick Bourgeois, you here? Nikki Zigas. Mike Picaros. John Freya. Camino Opensky. Paul LeBlanc. Sean Arsenal. You here? Coaches, Chris Young. Davis Collins also is a player. Bradford. Oh, Richard Rogers, I didn't see you. Get up. Get up here. You sure do. Randy, come on up, buddy. Did I miss anybody? Coaches, Chris Young? Miss Coach? Danny Sanabria? And we got Richie. Okay, so we got Coach Young. I don't know if he went out for a minute. Coach Dobzinski and Coach Roger Mercier. Coach Pizzacone, is he in the room? Coach Pizzacone, come on up. John Dobzinski Jr. Where is he? I didn't miss anybody, right? Hey, Reggie. Okay, buddy. That's it, right, Coach? Thank you, sir, for coming. Yes. Coach. Hey, buddy, good to see you. Hey, John. Okay, it's a record time that it's done by 8:45. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to come here this evening. We'll be in touch for next year's event. Thank you very much.